Bottle Part 2. Art School is for posers. It's all disclosure. Drink 1. Charges. The phone call came in about 4:15 a.m. No one likes to get a call like that at that time of night. The AA Bible was going to ignore the ringing phone at first, but something made him answer. When he answered the phone, he was connected with a police officer who said he was reading a written note on behalf of one Durzum, a Finnish national who was writing at the time because he couldn't speak. The officer said he had been charged with arson of a church he was volunteering at. He said he was calling the AA Bible for him to secure a lawyer for Durzum's bail hearing in the morning. He told him the address of the courthouse where he would appear for the hearing and hung up the phone. Drink 2. Lawyer. The AA Bible fired up his Dell desktop and waited for it to load a browser. Eventually, he was able to choose a local lawyer from No Limit Lawyers Incorporated. He called the number and was given the surprise of his life. He was connected with Skinny Steven on the landline. Turns out Skinny left New Orleans and Master P, bought half of the record label, and Skinny became a lawyer. The two briefly talked about Durzum's predicament, and Skinny assured the AA Bible that if he can post bond, he can almost guarantee that Durzum will make bail. He told the AA Bible to bring his credit card to the courthouse because fees were tricky to pin down at that point, and every case is unique. Classic lawyer talk, for this is going to get expensive. Drink 3. Skinny is basically Cochrane. The bail hearing was swift. Durzum was released on a $1 million bond which the AA Bible put down on his credit card. He was given a few minor conditions and told to hand in his passport to the courts. The AA Bible was his surety, which he had to reside with, and that was it. Durzum was free on bail, and the AA Bible's American Express Gold was feeling the wrath of the courts and Skinny's charges. The two friends returned to the AA Bible's house. The car ride was silent the whole way there. Neither man said a word. Drink 4. Case closed. The case was handled by Skinny at amazing speed. He was able to convince the courts that the prosecutor had very little hard evidence and proof that Durzum was guilty of committing the arson. He spun a tale that focused on probability of fact. Candles were lit for worship at the statue of the Blood Tears Christ statue, and Durzum was mopping nearby. What Skinny said probably happened because of the situation surrounding the fire was that Durzum may have accidentally mopped over a candle, which in turn ignited the church and burnt it to the ground. The prosecution had no probability story at all and was only hinging the charges on the fact that Durzum was the cleaner volunteer and that no man of the cloth would have committed such a heinous act. Skinny said that there was no reason for Durzum to intentionally burn the church down, and the case was grudgingly dismissed by the prosecutor, having the judge slam his anvil. There was one catch. There had been a closed-room discussion that if the case was tossed, Durzum would forfeit his visa and leave the U.S. forever. He was given 2 weeks to make his plans, which Skinny somehow got for him. Most people are put on a plane immediately with the air marshals aboard and the pilot notified. Drink 5. Canada, OCAD, and a student visa. A plan was hatched between the two men who were now temporary roommates for Durzum to go to Canada and apply for general studies at OCAD University, which would grant him a student visa in Canada. Canada was chosen because the amount of skate punk bands that it pumped out during the 90s, and both men liked the scene. Both men thought they had something special going on up there during those years. Durzum fired off an application to OCAD for the following semester and was accepted immediately. Turns out general studies at OCAD was not a competitive enrollment process. He was issued a student visa soon after by the Canadian authorities and packed his meager possessions in a run sack and boarded a Greyhound for Toronto. The big smoke. The AA Bible shook Durzum's hand and told him good luck and to keep in contact. Durzum wrote his friend a little note that told him he was grateful for his help and excited about his adventure. The AA Bible could not help but wonder if something else was going to go up in smoke in Toronto, with Durzum residing there as a student. The two friends saluted each other and the bus rumbled towards the border in British Columbia for the bus to take the Trans-Canada Highway all the way to Toronto, Ontario. Drink 6. Downtown Toronto, the first day of school, and a band that does not exist. Durzum was able to secure a small flat in a sublet situation in a government housing situation downtown, kind of near OCAD. The first day of school arrived, and Durzum hatched a plot that he would execute over the course of his stay at OCAD. He was going to create a metal band that doesn't really exist. They have no songs, but they have merch. His idea is to con posers at the school into buying the merch and pretending they listen to a band that actually has no songs. He began his hunt for fake fans, but to his disillusionment, it seemed like art school was a lot different than what he had imagined. There was a large number of Asian students milling around and a large number of computers. No one with a punk jacket or those shitty little canvas shoulder bags with a star on it was in sight. That was until he found the smoking area. He wrote some notes on paper and handed them out in the smokers area in the park behind OCAD and got some bites. He said he was an international student from Finland and had a one-man metal band and was eager to share the music with people in the local scene. The students who smoked took the bait hook, line, and sinker and exchanged numbers. After getting his course syllabus for the first year class, he decided that he was going to use his assignments to create merch for his non-existent band. It was his plan to then sell the merch to get people to believe that they had listened to songs, but there are none, just merch, and they own it all. Drink 7. Year 1 assignment. Make a poster. The main project from his general studies program in year 1 was to create a poster of some sort to promote something. This assignment was perfect for his plan and needed a band name. He fell on Scandinavian Terror as the name and quickly whipped up a poster that his disciples would love to put on their wall. He posted the poster on lampposts all over downtown, which were black and white photocopies of the real one, and that he unveiled his true poster to his friends who smoked too much and liked to sit in parks instead of being in the library. The poster was sold for $15 Canadian, and Durzum managed to sell a few prints. He had introduced the name of the band to everyone who would listen and had received a very good grade from his professor in the meantime. Drink 8. Time Eternal, Year 3, T-shirt assignment. Time passed like dust in the wind, and slowly year 3 was abound, and the assignment this year was to make a t-shirt that promotes or creates a logo of any kind. Durzum chose to make a band logo for Scandinavian Terror. He landed on a hand-drawn map of the landmass of Scandinavia for unknown reasons. Durzum submitted the t-shirt to the prof and distributed it to his growing number of fans for $28 Canadian. His plan was working. His followers were buying the marketing hook, line, and sinker. He had even heard some people talking about the musical style of the EP that won't actually play. They are starting to make up songs in their head based on his marketing of the band that does not exist. Drink 10. Year 4 studies, create a performance art piece. Year 4 seemed buried under time and dust, but the performance act assignment slowly arrived in Durzums' thoughts. He was tasked to create a performance art piece that links all of his assignments from previous years into the performance piece. He decided to hold a concert for Scandinavian Terror at the Horseshoe Tavern. The price was pay what you can. He advertised the show on lampposts in the smoking area and any place where Art School Confidential happens. The show was on a Friday night starting at 11 p.m. The room was pitch dark as the crowds filled in the venue. Durzum waited for the place to fill up, then turned on a very large industrial fan to create the cold winds blowing. He then shone a bright light on the stage, and all that was there was a single snare drum. For 15 minutes, he played a remix of Transylvanian Hunger with the snare drum constantly smashing in timed taps. The crowd was looking at each other, confused and a little bit uneasy. When the remix ended, the fans started for a few moments to hold the suspense, then suddenly put on Sinking Ship by Kick 482 and turned the lights on as balloons fell from the ceiling. The crowd immediately started moshing and all their hats turned sideways. Durzum sat in the back of the venue in the corner, admiring what he had created. Durzum sat there in bliss until the song was over, then growled, "No mosh," into the mic, and then hollowly said, "No trends," as the crowd rushed to leave the venue, creating a panic. Suddenly, the large fan short-circuited and the Horseshoe Tavern started smoking. The tavern burned to the ground that night along with the egos of all his fans for his non-existent band. Electrical fire was the cause, the fire marshal stated. Durzum disappeared. Drink 11. Graduation Day, Yearbook, and Master Copies. Graduation Day fell on a Sunday for Durzum at OCAD. He did not get to go to the stage out of spite for the ceremony. He also did not want to wear the stupid hat. A few weeks later, OCAD Yearbook came out for the whole student body and the faculty to view. In the graduating students section was a spot for Durzum. No photo was available. What everybody saw was 3 question marks with the quote, "Art school is for posers," and nothing more. The first week into summer semester, OCAD was hit with tragedy when a welding torch fell over and ignited some cloth, which caused the school to sustain heavy fire and smoke damage. It did not burn it to the ground, but the damage was basically beyond repair. A rebuild was needed. The insurance money will cover that. What Durzum did with all the merch money he made from his fake fans is purchase the master copies of Kick 482's Sinking Ship so no one can ever play it ever again anywhere. He then disappeared.